I'm not a fucking entertainer. And I'm not really there to talk to the mainstream 50th percentile public. But we do a very good job communicating with people that are, high aspirations, already doing well, and want to do even better. That's my target market. Those are the people that I want to talk to. Roland says, does charging a higher price create more buy-in from a customer when they purchase a product or program? I've heard that when people spend more money on a product or course, they will tend to value the product more. Was curious what your thoughts were on this. It depends. It depends. I built this to be a premium brand, and I create premium programs for people that are serious and dedicated. It's not for normal people. And I say that all the time. It's not for normal people. If you want to be normal, you don't need my help to have normal outcomes. You don't need me around to have average outcomes. So go do average shit by yourself. But the way that we structure these courses and the way that I've structured that business, I wanted to charge a price that it makes sense. It's fair to me, that I feel that I'm being reasonably rewarded, and a person that's here is respecting the process. They paid enough. Now, I set those prices back in 2019, end of 2019, and I haven't adjusted that at all. So, we're going to do that this year, and I have some dates in mind that I'm not going to say at the moment. But inflation's been, everything's up 40% or so since then. So it's time to review that and adjust pricing again. But my thought about it is should be enough money that it keeps the wrong people out, but it's not a burden at all for the right people. Because who are we here with? Who are the people that are here? It's like anybody that's here should have a goal to make at least $1 million. At least $1 million. And for somebody to say I want to be a multi-millionaire, and Derek's going to substantially help me with that, and then be like, but I don't want to pay $15,000 to go through 3 courses, 5. So go figure it out by yourself. It took me over 30 years to learn the things that I know. So if you could do it by yourself, you would have done it already. So a person that's serious about that, they don't think anything about spending $15,000. They think nothing of it, because they're actually going to show up and do the work. So I think there is a level of buy-in there. I think that might be the language you used. I think there is a level of buy-in where, I could sell that course to more people if I just talked slightly differently. If I just wasn't alienating to mediocrity, if I was less alienating to the mediocre people, they'd buy the course too. But it's not really what I do. Like I want people that are serious, that are dedicated, that are going to show up consistently, and I like that social ecosystem, because I just think of these courses as like this is a filter for the mastermind group. That the people that do well in the courses will end up in the mastermind group, and people in the mastermind group I'm going to be spending time with in person. And I don't want to spend time in person with losers. I don't want to spend time on these calls with fucking losers. So I think, I looked at that as, it seemed like the right price to create the ecosystem that we wanted to create that'll maximize winning overall. That'll be optimal for creating the right social group. It's gone very well. A different example of a very interesting pricing story was, what's the name of that vodka? Absolute Vodka. And with Absolute Vodka, there's a somewhat famous story that I heard about back in undergrad in one of my management classes. They said that it was, kind of a mid-priced vodka, and their sales were awful. And all they did is change the price. They raised the prices substantially. And I forget, they might have raised the prices 50% or so. And after they raised the prices, people perceived it as a more premium drink, and their sales went up. So, now there's very few businesses where I think that would be true. So a lot of services or a lot of things are commoditized. You could argue, however, that vodka is also somewhat commoditized. A vodka drink is, by definition, a mostly flavorless, tasteless type drink. Now, it does have a taste about it, but it's one vodka is not strongly differentiated from another based on taste. They're doing branding that sells a certain lifestyle or social status associated with certain brands, but not other brands, So some brands are more price sensitive. Some brands are, a social status indicator or a lifestyle, aspirational lifestyle indicator. And, that's the appeal of the brand, not the beverage itself. So you have to realize what type of market you're in, who are the people that you want to get to, who is your target market. In my target market, back to the Moneyberg business, my target market was not to reach the absolute greatest number of people or have the biggest number of clients. If you look at YouTube, and this is very intentional, if you look at my YouTube, a lot of the titles, they're not much clickbait titles. They're kind of boring. They're kind of factual and boring. And I think that does appeal to people that are, higher IQ, higher education. I think they understand here's someone who's not full of shit like everyone else. And I think that's a positive filter in that context. But it does, I get less clicks and views than if I wanted to go with heavy clickbait shit. So I get less views. I get less, less eyeballs on something. And I think that's okay. I don't think that's a bad thing, because I'm not there for entertainment. I'm not there making, funny cat videos or, the dog on a skateboard type videos, where that's not what I do. I'm not a fucking entertainer, and I'm not really there to talk to the, mainstream 50th percentile public, but we do a very good job communicating with people that are, high aspirations, already doing well and want to do even better. That's my target market. Those are the people that I want to talk to. Those are the people that I want to spend my life with, that I want to have sincere social relationships with and spend my time with. So, it, again, depends what your goals are, depends who your target market is for the product or service you're providing. And, that'll be very informative to the decision that you'll want to make. Later in this program, by the way, we'll talk more about, pricing strategies, later on in the course. So the first month we talk a lot about mindsets and logical fallacies and cognitive biases, which are fantastic, by the way. And then later in the course, you're going to learn more about nuts and bolts of business, including things related to pricing strategy. So, a good question. Stay tuned, and I think you're going to be very happy. Yuval, what's happening, Yuval? Yuval says, Derek, happy birthday, Derek. Enjoyed your conversation with Glover and about habits, beginning habits. Stop doubting, do your work, invest, and eat like a lion. Overthink things, prepare some more. Graze around, sacrifice, and get eaten alive like a wildebeest. Good job are the two deadliest words in the English language. What important lessons have you learned in the course of training over the last 19 months? How have those improved your life and outcomes? Business is a team sport to some extent, where you're going to be around a certain type of people. You're going to have people that are contractors, vendors, employees in your businesses, and you're going to have other business people that are either allies or just business friends, people that you're around. And I know that culture very well, and it was very refreshing to me. I've spent so much time. I'm spending 18 or 20 days a month with, world champion level, top contenders or current or former world champion fighters. And, some of the things that Glover and I touched on, I think are maybe the most important. That's a culture of, personal responsibility, no excuses, no excuse making, just personal responsibility, hard work. If you win the fight, then everybody on your team celebrates and they think that they were somehow responsible. If you lose the fight, then you're a loser. Your manager doesn't think they're a loser. The coach doesn't think they're a loser. Your teammates don't. Is that you're the loser? So, if you do well, then there's a diffusion of the celebration that many people are celebrating for their contribution. If you do poorly, then you're the loser, and it's not their fault. And it's a lonely thing, man. These guys are tough. It's not just physical. It's like the ones that make it to the top are very psychologically resilient and very, physically talented as well, very intellectually talented. And it's a lonely thing. It's a lonely thing. There's a whole lot of overlap with business. So just being around that culture so much, I think it's been good for me that it's another perspective of looking at the world through, personal responsibility framework. Nobody cares about your excuses. I don't make excuses with, you heard Glover say that earlier. You never hear me complain. I don't argue with him about nothing. If we do the same goddamn thing for 4 hours and then we go back the next day and we do it for a few more hours, that's what's up. Some people are confused. They say, Derek, what is the 10 Commandments of Wealth? Not the 10 maybes of wealth. It's the 10 core things that you're going to need to know about in detail if you'd like to accumulate significant wealth in your lifetime. Click this link up here to find more information of exactly what is the 10 Commandments of Wealth, how is the program structured, what's inside of it, how are you going to benefit from it. If you're doing well already and you'd like to do better, click that link and find out more. There's over 100 hours of content in this program. I've interviewed dozens of world champions that shared what it took for them to win, to be the top Hall of Fame athletes in their respective areas. And I brought a lot of other superstars in there from business, from legal, people that are real world entrepreneurs that made serious money, as I have myself. We all share with you what are the foundations you're going to need to know if you want to be successful yourself. Be a chooser, not a loser. Click that link, find out more. I'll see you inside.